I should warn you, I've been playing with AI image generation today, so some of the images you're going to see were AI generated. I can tell you about one that I threw out afterwards because it really wasn't going to, it didn't look right. So here we go. 1920s. I did think about doing a Jenny. When I said I'd do a talk on the 20s, I thought, can I get away with doing 1620s? But I'm going to be doing stuff around the 1600s in October. So I thought, oh, I shouldn't spend too long all in one era. Right. So May 1922. This is from the Parochial Church Council. Mr. Jerome asked the PCC whether they could put a stop to ducks wandering in the churchyard and causing damage. That triggered another member to complain about children playing there. The secretary was asked to get the local bobby onto the case. I don't know what the bobby was going to do with the ducks. I do not know. So you've got rampaging ducks there, thanks to our AI. So I've got a few different data sources. We've got the PCC minutes, we've got the parish council minutes, and I've got the newspapers, but it'll become fairly apparent as we go through. So parish council. This is the minute of when the parish council decided they'd like Adam and Eve to be stored in the church. That's the fire engines. Okay, so fine. We all know that they're in the church. This is 1st of September 1922, the Parochial Church Council minutes, when they decided no. Did you know that happened? So that's sort of interesting. Someone must have got back to them though, because November, they now reconsider. I'll probably see this because we don't want to have every single word. But basically, having been originally in the care of the church wardens and kept in the belfry, they say, well, keeping the fire engines in the belfry would be entertaining, I think. Well, I presume they mean the base of the tower. They decided, yes, in the belfry would be a good operation. Those aren't light machines. They decided they would take them after all, which is why they are now where they are. But we almost didn't have them there. But someone must have had a strong word with the Parochial Church Council. Please. So, 1923, the parish council funded a land drainage scheme between Aldbourne and Whitmonditch. I would love to know exactly what was done, but they were hoping to alleviate the unemployment and flooding. So I looked up the unemployment figures, and that's what the graph is there. You might be able to make out the 1922-23 is around 8%.
Gosh.
Well, having been at university in the 1980s when UB40 was singing about 1 in 10, 8% I'm sort of slightly blasé about. And actually, 8% is a national figure. If you look at the breakdown, the north had it way worse than down south. So parish council being helpful and trying to alleviate unemployment, but by modern standards, the unemployment wasn't all that bad, probably. Anyways, so land drainage scheme. It seems to have been a good idea. Because we then get a newspaper cutting where we're petitioning the local district council, which at the time was Ramsbury Rural District Council, that's a test for you to mouth, to do something similar in Lottage Road. Rob would be slightly interested, I think, given that we're still trying to address some of the drainage in Lottage Road. They said they seem to have had some plan for doing something like that. I think Rob's going to be itching to get at our archive for all the minutes now. There is now a large crossover between the Heritage Group and the Council. So anyways, that's that. Back to the minutes. The vicar asked whether any of the council had noticed the remarks written in the visitors' book. Thought some means should be taken to try and stop it. Now, thankfully, our visitors' book doesn't seem to have been as listing any comments that we need to stop. And the vicar, bless him, probably didn't want to repeat what had been written in there. Has anyone with the church connections got the old visitors' books? I'd be really fascinated to see what they were.
Delivered a special message to the family in various visitors' books all over the country. And so they're coming to Aldbourne to find the message that she left to them. And we had quite a job.
Comments. We need to.
Books out, but we got them out. About 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. So Jenny was just saying they have recently got out some old ones, but that was 20 years ago ones, whereas I'm looking at 1925. Whether anyone's kept those, I don't know. Listen, the parish council, as ever, rather vexed by the village green. I've got a sneaking suspicion that Rob and I are going to be dealing with that this year, probably. Anyway, matter was brought forward. We stated that a track was being made across the green by cars, taking a shortcut, I think. This is what caused the sarsen stones to appear around the edge, because they were thinking of having a gutter, a deep gutter around one edge. That I don't think appeared. But I think this is the first sign of the sarsen stones being put on there to try and discourage people from just driving randomly across the green. Yeah, the Browns have only just left the council. Yeah, yeah, and you can push a long way back and it'll still be true. So yeah, the blacksmith. So were they taking the shortcut to get to him? Okay. Methodist choir competing. Got first prize last year, had to put up with second. But the WI competed and won in the class of 17. So at a music festival. Music festivals are not a recent thing. I think there's an interesting theme which I think we're going to pick up on in here. More musicians' success. I love this. Mr. F. Matthews, the local banjoist, scored a tremendous success. As a final encore, he played Land of Hope and Glory with marked enthusiasm. I wish I could get AI to do it. Maybe I should have got AI to do an audio file of a banjo playing Land of Hope and Glory. I can't quite picture what it would sound like. But there we are. Weird things happening in Aldbourne. Nothing new. So, more musical success. J.B. Alder of Baden Hill, that's when we had a sensible name for the road, has been successful in open competition for the composition of a tune and refrain. The test was organised by Mr. J. Blackburn of Leeds. So it's going quite a way to involved in music. Well, he was conducting the brass band, yes, but whether he was in there, it's an interesting question. We've got more brass band related ones coming through. So they got involved, and if you go into the names involved in these quartet and duet contests, this does look like a large scions of the brass band going on off, having a bit of fun doing in small numbers. And you've got all the Jerums, you've got euphonium, you've got cornet, you've got another cornet. So you've got lots of stuff, people. So all of the very typical names. What's interesting is the bit at the bottom. The village has been very fortunate in securing so many medals and other prizes for football and band contests during the past fortnight. These include 17 gold medals, 6 silver medals, 1 cup, and one Fox Hill shield. We need to get our act together. We are not earning that number of prizes a week at the moment. So, yeah. Yeah, that I haven't counted them to see whether AI got it right. I generated this image after an upcoming item, and for some reason it got confused between the two requests, and it had originally put an egg in this one, but you'll find out why shortly. You know, AI, I can't get over how good it is actually at generating an image. That's really not too bad. Anyways, we're not talking about AI. So, 1927, they've renovated the Methodist chapel. The walls have now been painted to a suitable colour. Okay. Question to my mind comes, what colour were they before? What was it unsuitable? And it's now been electrified with the members of the congregation giving a lamp each. And then the total cost of the scheme was about £40. So this was primitive, so this would have been West Street, I think. Yeah, so the big one. So, yeah, £40 to do a whole electric renovation. That place must have stunk, because that would have been oil-based varnish. Scrubbing the building right through. That wasn't a small building, was it? That was a chunky one.
It was only 20 years old.
Yeah. Well, the Methodists were very. There were a lot of them, and it got good use, I guess. And before the streets were probably made up, you were tramping in mud every time you came in, I expect, and you probably had hobnail boot. Okay, WI had a talk from the National Savings Association on money and its history. That sounds more like one of our meetings. I'm almost tempted to suggest that, but I can't quite think of a Aldbourne link other than the tokens. The roll call sounds a bit more interesting. Each member answered with a riddle. They must have been a creative lot, coming up with a riddle for your name when you're here. I presume they must have had prior notice, because otherwise you'd all be sitting there and go, oh, okay. So, and do they still have competitions for the best laundered tablecloth? Did everyone have to get it uniformly dirty before you tried to get it clean? Did the chairman of the previous week come around with a strawberry and go squish on your tablecloth and say, clean that? Bless them. But yes, money is history. I like the sound of that talk. That's up my alley. Right. A debate, public debates in Aldbourne. One of the best debates of the season was held on Friday. The subject for the discussion being, should we follow public opinion? 1925. Okay. And I'll cut it short. They voted in favour of democracy and saying, yes, we should follow public opinion. So very village names involved in that again. Barnes and Hawkins. But in the 20s, you'd still got an awful lot of the very old families here. So public opinion says we should follow public opinion. Next debate on the subject of vaccination, and it was keenly discussed. Mr. McLaggart? Well, it looks like Laggart, but anyways, presided. Mr. Couch took the affirmative view and Mr. Stacey the negative on does vaccination prevent smallpox? On the votes being counted, it was found that the majority were from Mr. Stacey's point of view, that vaccination doesn't prevent smallpox. Oh dear, public opinion wasn't exactly right. 1980, after a major vaccination program under the World Health Organization, it was eradicated. So, yes.
Also, one of the teachings of one of the 1800s.
Yes. Yeah, so I've actually got a genuine 1920s photo here rather than one of my AI generated ones. Yeah, so the Wesleyans had their Charabang outing to Southsea. That must have taken a while. Probably open top, given it's a Charabang. So hopefully the good weather. But then this is a sort of composite item. So we get the Wesleyans had their outing to Charabang, to the South Sea. The ban on water squirts. The parish council are trying to ban the use of water squirts at the feast. I think this is basically what we call water pistols. Well, I haven't seen the parish council trying to ban it lately, but maybe we should try again. And the formation of a liberal tennis club, which I'm presuming is the political liberal rather than meaning that anything should be allowed in tennis. I don't know if there was a Tory tennis club, and I don't know where our current tennis club stands. Are they independent? So, carry on through. Football. Lots of football. Hungerford Cup. Aldbourne beat Hungerford 2-0. Though they played Hungerford, though they were played fairly well in the first half. This must have been written by an Aldbourne person. The first half were at no time equal to their opponents. That's harsh, given you've just beaten them. Yeah. More football. Cup winners. Hearty congratulations due to the Aldbourne Football Club team winning the Advertiser Cup. Game with Garrards was a good one, fought on clean lines. The village was delighted with the success of the local team and gave them a hearty welcome on their return. Even more football. Hungerford Cup tie. And we've got the team, Lydiard, Perry, Palmer, West, Wentworth, Barnes, Russ, Barnes. Aldbourne scored twice in the first half through Barnes and Barnes. And after the interval, they penetrated the visitors' defence 3 times. So we ended at 5-0, beating them. So that's going fairly well. Now we get to AI again. Football. Aldbourne played the Southend Sports Club on Saturday. The wind was blowing almost a gale, and it was difficult to keep the ball on the ground. Imagine difficult to keep it going in one direction. Aldbourne secured an early lead, despite a strong opposition, retained it until the finish, winning 3-2. Bless them. Aldbourne doing really well. And it looks like I managed to get one of the slides out of order. So let's go. Yes, we'll go to that one next. Match between Aldbourne reserves and Watcombe resulted in a victory for the former. Ooh. H. Hawkins, having had his leg broken above the ankle. A gentleman from Watcombe kindly conveyed him to Savernake Hospital, where he's progressing favourably. I think they must have been playing with more fervour than skill, maybe. Unfortunately, we lost, I think. Yeah, that was only our reserve. So, right, now we get to the egg. And this is the image that I generated before, the one with the medals, and it decided to put that egg in with the medals the first time I did it. I do not know why. Anyway, so this is another little thing. You get the prize band giving a concert. A monster egg. On Sunday, a hen belonging to Mr. Henry Waite laid an egg which turned the scale at 4 ounces. Okay. my researching head came on. So I wondered, what's the maximum weight of an egg that's ever been laid by a hen? The Guinness World Record is for one laid in 1956, 16 ounces. That poor hen. And then we get on to a dance. The Aldbourne and Baden Nursing Association in the Memorial Hall. And if you read down, Mr. Eric Cheeseman greatly assisted by his clever arrangement of electric lights. Okay, I want to know more. I could have done without the hen bit and a bit more information on the electric lights. But yes, so the fundraising for the Nursing Association was going for, well, certainly since the tail end of the 19th century, all the way through to the NHS, I think. And will be tied up somewhat with my next talk, because I'm slightly suicidal and I'm doing 3 talks in 1 year. Still wonder why I decided to do that. Anyway, so I've done that all. Or football. So we've got a whole tournament. The Gorse Hill Works won. So some of the scores: Marlborough Town 16, Aldbourne C 3, Aldbourne A 9, Lambourne Linnets 4, Butterworth Street PM 16, Ramsbury C 9. You begin to wonder whether they bothered with keepers in that one. Bristol Buses 13, Marlborough Town 5. It's a bit like the pools, this does. And the final was Gorse Hill Workman 9, Aldbourne A 6. Yeah. And Aldbourne B 14, Ramsbury A 10. I guess we should have mentioned that one because we all love it when we beat Ramsbury, don't we? So, yes, football tournaments are plenty. More football tournaments. So, North Wilts Herald, 1928. The third six-a-side. Now we know, and from this we learned that it's in connection with the Silver Band, the Silver Prize Band. There are 20 entries, 20 teams coming in. Thankfully, Gorse Hill Works didn't enter. Don't want them doing it again. We got to the final again, and we're beaten again by Newbury, 9-6. Oh dear. And we believe that the silver cup for the competition was donated by James Curry, but we don't know where that is now. But that medal was one of the ones that we acquired last year. And obviously was won by, that's one of the Newbury team who got it engraved saying there was six-a-side winners 1928, and we get his name on there. So they're actually handing out 9-carat gold medals, because we know it's 9-carat gold because that's how we bought it. So yeah, competitions. Right. So we'll come off competitions, but there were 3 of those. I think. Sorry, I'm peering almost more than anyone else now because I only get a small view. I can't quite make it out. If it's the carnival field, that'd make it entertaining for a football match. Yeah, it's going to be Woodley's Meadows sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. That's not exactly flat, is it? It's a bit of a slope.
Dropped over 6 feet. And then the corner flag to the left to right.
Okay, right. So we'll come off football. Aldbourne, missing licence, charged at Hungerford Petty Sessions on Wednesday with driving a motor lorry without a licence. William Stacey, ordered to pay 5 shillings. So, yeah, that's funny. The tax discs. I bit of googling there. Although this one is from Doncaster, I think. Leeds, I think it says. So, PC Coombe in the village kept in his eye and got 2 people to court for not having tax discs. Ernest Stacey got off as he could produce the one that was backdated. So, bench in a fairly lenient mood. Next guy had to pay costs, I think, despite being backdated. So they were introduced in 1921. So 7 years in, should have really had an idea that you had to have it there. But PC Coombe was doing his bit, just wandering around, peering in windscreens, I guess. Those were the days before it all being computerized. Including the policeman. Actually, I might go for reading this one out because this is quite good. Marlborough County Petty Sessions on Saturday. William Borton, bricklayer's labourer of Aldbourne, summoned for using obscene language. Incident which led to the summons being taken out, described by PC Wheeler, who said he visited the square on the night of July the 3rd, found Borton with his jacket off, using very obscene language. He said he would fight anybody in the village, including the policeman. Witness managed to persuade the defendant to go away. And the following day, he came to him and expressed regret for what had taken place. It was stated Borton had previously been of good character. Magistrates fined him 5 shillings. Seems to be the default sort of cost. Now, a bit of chicken rustling. This one's a bit too long to read out the whole way. But John Fawcett, 55, an Irish smallholder, he was living here, charged with 15 counts of poultry rustling, plus 1 of attempted rustling from William Brown, and a charge of assaulting PC Axford. He systematically replenished the stock on his own poultry farm from other farmers. It seems like 139 birds were stolen. PC Axford was laying in ambush at Captain Brown's farm. The perpetrator threatened the PC with a 3-foot crowbar. PC struck him with his staff. Scuffle ensued. Fawcett struck PC Axford and got away. But of course, he got caught because in the village in those days, PC Axford had gone, I know who you are, you live down there. He pled guilty and got 6-month sentence. And another mad AI image. Right. For distressed miners. So nationally, the Lord Mayor's Fund had raised over £500,000 as there were 20,000 unemployed miners in the West Riding in Yorkshire alone. So the vicar here presided over a committee, 120 parcels sent from Aldbourne, plus £9, 15 shillings for the Lord Mayor's Fund. So, yeah, the Lord Mayor's Fund for distressed miners, I think it even went international. I think they're even getting money from Australia. Now, I'll get to the end. I'll just say one thing. Does anyone notice that the theme that ran through there that I haven't mentioned too much or pointed out too much? Competitions. So many competitions were being organised in the 1920s. Way more than seems to be now. Anyway, Alan said to me, can you finish by about 9:15? You're very well. Yeah, it's finished up by